Till now, we are able to achieve few things. We are able to create the embeddings with the help of OpenAI embedding models and save those embedding models in our vector store. Now it's time to create a search API. For that, I am going to create a controller class. Let me create a package first, controller, and I'm going to create a Java class called Semantic Search controller. Let me provide a REST controller mapping on it, and I'm going to create string get search or get similar search. I'm just going to create a get mapping of simple search or search movie, I would say. Okay, and I'm just going to take a request body as a string search. Let us see what we are going to return. As of now, let me just return null to make the compiler happy. I also need to inject the vector store here. See how I do the injection in the Spring. I use simply private final vector store, and I'm going to use a Lombok annotation required args constructor. With these two combination, I am using a constructor injection. Now vector store has been injected by the Spring now. Now if I use this vector store, and let us see how many methods we have on this. We have the similarity search here. I'm just going to pass this search which is coming from the user. Let us see what it is returning to us. It is returning a list of documents. Now from these documents I have to fetch the metadata, because ultimately the user is going to understand the metadata only. So from these documents, if I stream on it and a map on it, so I'm going to get a doc, and from doc I need to fetch the metadata, and I need to get three things. One is the movie ID which we are storing in it. Let us see what we are storing in it. We are storing this movie ID. So this movie ID dot toString. Also let me just create a record here, record response, which is a string movie ID, string main leads, and string plot description. Now I'm just going to create a new response. The first parameter is of course this movie ID. The second parameter is main leads. The third parameter is the plot description. The map is done successfully now, and I could just use a to list here to give me collection of documents. This is the similarity search. The vector store has given us the related movies according to your search criteria. I could just return this list. Now instead of this string, I need to pass a list of response. For a better naming convention, I could use a Bollywood movie rather than just using a response, and I could just place everywhere this Bollywood response, and Bollywood response. And to get rid of this warnings, what I could do, I could just return this directly. Do not need to take into an extra variable, and that it is. We are able to create our controller as well. Let us run this program and check whether this is running fine or not. But before that, I have explained in my previous video that I need to make it false because our embeddings have been created. Let me stop my application and rerun the application again. There is some problem in the vector store. In the latest Spring Boot, this way of using this required args constructor and this private final vector store is not working. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to simply create a simple public semantic search controller constructor first, and then inject this vector store private or private vector store, and let us inject this dot vector store equals to vector store. Okay, now let us run this program again. Yeah, we are able to successfully run our application. Let's continue.